Betty Buckley is a Broadway legend, a Tony winner who's been called the voice of Broadway, and she's still making music with the recent release of Betty Buckley Sings Stephen Sondheim. She took a walk with Paul Wontorek to talk about her incredible career.
She's a Tony-winning theater icon who spends a lot of her time on her beautiful ranch in Texas with her beautiful animals, but today she's on Broadway. Hey, Betty Lynn Buckley.
Hey, Paul.
So good to see you.
I'm so happy to see you.
I'm so thrilled to see you. You are here celebrating an amazing new recording. Betty Buckley Sings Stephen Sondheim.
Right.
You have recorded so many amazing Sondheim songs over the years, and you pulled them all together with some new things, and people can now enjoy this beautiful tribute to this amazing man.
Like everybody, we all loved and honored him so much. I consider myself a devotee, and the idea that it's all together in one place as like kind of mini essays about my love for Stephen Sondheim.
Yeah. You have been in many amazing Broadway shows. Today, I want to sort of live through some of these memories.
That's so sweet.
The M word. So we're going to start right here. You were Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard in this mammoth Broadway theater.
Yes.
Mammoth hit, Sunset Boulevard. What are your memories?
Well, that opening night was one of the greatest nights of my life. The place was packed, and from the moment I started, I was just, the audience gave me so much love. I had done the show for a year in London.
Yeah.
I felt literally like I was swimming through love. The love in the audience was completely palpable. I'm living with the remembrance with my knees. 2 years of Sunset Boulevard completely destroyed my knees running up and down those stairs in high heels and heavy gowns.
It was an enormous set. Enormous, and then the whole thing moved up and down, and you looked amazing, and you had the turbans, and it was definitely a mega musical. That was a big show.
Yeah.
All right, let's head west and go see some more of your amazing career.
Okay.
This is the Jacobs Theater. It was once the Royale Theater,
Yes.
and you graced its stage twice.
Yes.
And of course, we have a Sondheim show right now. Company is here. Sondheim is represented on Broadway right now. But you did an Andrew Lloyd Webber, 2 shows. So Song and Dance, which is a score I actually really love. Andrew Lloyd Webber.
I love that.
You love that score too?
I loved it.
I'm really mad I didn't get to see you do that.
Yeah, I kind of begged them to let me do that. Opening night, the end note of la da 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 da.
Unexpected Song.
Yeah. Was like a G. I had so much adrenaline that I belted the note on opening night, and my voice teacher was there, Paul Gabbert, and the whole audience, from my perspective, looked like that. Remember that old Memorex commercial where everyone's hair is blown backwards? They all literally were like, "Oh my God!" And Paul comes back and he goes, "Don't ever do that, not ever." And I was like, I'm sorry, I just had so much adrenaline.
And then you got to come back and do a beautiful little show called Triumph of Love.
A jewel of a show.
A little jewel of a show.
Yeah.
It was, again, the kind of musical that was so great to see in a space like that.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful show and incredible cast.
Yeah.
And I was in these incredible costumes where I walked around like this with my giant panniers. So yeah, it was a wonderful thing.
So the Imperial Theater, a very big, grand Broadway theater.
Yes, it's fabulous.
You had 2 big successes there. So first, let's talk about Pippin.
Okay, I wanted to be in Pippin so badly because Bob Fosse was directing it. Fosse, was my life when I was a teenager. I studied with 2 of his acolytes who had done a lot of his shows, and they were my teachers in Fort Worth, Texas, and so I knew everything Fosse, you know. And he came back and directed me into the show, Fosse.
Yeah, what was he like?
He was great. He always had this cigarette attached to his lower lip, and the ash would burn all the way down to the cigarette,
that
but
really
it
happened.
Stayed balanced. And and he wouldn't make eye contact, so I was constantly like running around trying to see his eyes to communicate with him. And he taught me some of the greatest lessons about musical theater. He said, "Betty, you're a very facile performer," and he said, "but when it feels good to you, it's wrong. You need to find that part of yourself that feels awkward."
Wow.
And that's right.
And then the Tony winner, The Mystery of Edwin Drood, was a big hit here. You got to do later, and you played Edwin Drood.
I played Alice Nutting, who is a male impersonator who played Edwin Drood, and I also played the old man Datchery. That was one of the greatest casts of all time, and that cast album, I think, I will say without a doubt, is one of the greatest cast albums in Broadway history.
We're on 46th Street, and this used to be the 46th Street,
46th
the not very
Theater.
creatively named 46th Street Theater.
Yeah.
Now Sir Richard Rogers.
This is my first Broadway theater.
This door the stage door. That's where you walked in to make your
Yeah.
Broadway debut. That's
Exactly.
awesome. Betty Buckley from Texas, who walked into that stage door. I know she came to Broadway with a lot of pageant and musical theater success from Texas.
A lot of musical theater experience.
You did.
And some of the best teachers you
You
could
were the best
imagine.
of Texas.
I was so ready.
You were so ready.
Yeah, I got this show 1776, my first day in New York City, which is true.
First day.
Yeah.
Okay, Betty, so this is the August Wilson Theater. They just put up the Funny Girl marquee, and it
Yes.
reminds me of another marquee
Of
because
the colors of Carrie.
the colors red and black, a little
They
bit of white.
painted the whole interior of the theater black.
I know.
I mean, this
Well,
beautiful
it's
theater.
Carrie. You were Margaret,
I was Margaret, the cruel and sadistic religious fanatic mother.
and of course you were in the movie.
I played the gym teacher.
Right,
in
you were a
the
gym
movie.
teacher in the movie, so you had a connection to it already.
did, yeah.
Carrie was this, how do you describe? It was this big score.
It was an event.
It was an event.
Yeah, it was schizophrenic, the response to the show. It was just wild. Because people would come in costume
Yeah.
and they would yell at us from the audience.
Yeah,
Like,
could've
I
been a
remember
whole
one day I was
thing.
at the top of the stairs and they were like, Betty Buckley, come on down. It was like so crazy. And I just thought, this is going to be an event where people
Yeah.
come and speak the lines with us, like
Yeah.
Rocky Horror. And it's unfortunate that they didn't go for it.
If marketing was different, it was a different time, it totally would
Yeah.
have happened, yeah. Finally, here we are, the Winter Garden Theater, home of the Music Man, Hugh Jackman, Sutton Foster, but Betty Buckley,
Yeah.
you won your Tony Award
Yeah.
while playing Grisabella, the iconic.
But I'll never forget when when they moved into the theater, and this beautiful Winter Garden marquee, and then on that whole sign there was the cat's eyes, and the slogan "Now and Forever."
Yes.
And I remember walking up to this place and just being like, "Oh my God, look at that!" It was really cool.
Your rendition of Memory is legendary.
Thank you.
You don't mind me using the L word.
Thank
And
you.
you still performed the song beautifully. I've
Thank
seen you
you.
perform it. And I love when you perform because you sort of get, you do the little cat, you become,
I
you,
know.
you
As soon as I
become
hear the
feline.
opening chords, I immediately just go
Yes.
into the place and I immediately see everything in
Do
my
you?
imagination that I
Yeah.
saw then. It's always the same place. Yeah, and people say, well, what's the difference in your interpretation and everybody else on the planet who's sung Memory? And the difference is that I actually was a cat.